from the Zimmer Radio Network headquarters.
We've been taught to believe that this kind of political violence, it simply doesn't exist. And today we face a new wave of this old evil.
It's your morning addiction.
We will pursue maximum pressure on this.
Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell, the Zimmer News Team.
And engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening.
And now introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Do you rule out striking civilian infrastructure?
I think, I saw Arachi, their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policies, an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye. I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be. I mean, they will pay a very heavy price for the things they're doing. They're already paying a very heavy price. You guys don't know it because you don't cover it. You're not in Iran. You're not in the street. They don't have a free media. But they're going to continue to pay a very heavy price.
Well, that's Marco Rubio laying down the marker. A head for an eye, not an eye for an eye, not a tooth for a tooth, a whole jaw and both upper and lower teeth for the tooth, sounds like. As the president is reportedly making a decision whether to go full force, making Epic Fury look like a water balloon battle compared to what may be coming. Welcome into Wake Up Missouri. It's a Feel Good Friday. We're going to be feeling good talking with the governor a little bit later, 7:05. Talking with Governor Mike Keogh. And at 7:35, President of the University of Missouri, Moon Choi, joins us and talk about the upcoming school year and ask him for a prediction on the Kansas game. And talk about some field days coming up. So lots of fun there.
You know, I haven't talked to Moon Choi specifically about football, and I'm really excited to see if he's like one of those people like Jin, where it's like we have to be nice to the fans coming in, and we have to be very show sportsmanship, or if he's like, hey, KU is the devil, and I'm ready to see him burn. Yeah,
you are unabashed in your opposition to KU and your feeling about them. That's perfectly clear. We understand that. That's Drake Whitman. He's the producer. Stephanie Bell's there, and Stephanie, John Marsh alongside as well. I found something that actually doesn't play well necessarily on radio, but it scared the heck out of me. I saw this montage, and it included one of the Muslim centers in Kansas City. And when you read, assuming that the text of what the imams are saying is true, it is a very chilling little X-post that I saw, the daily Muslim prayer. Well, here it is a little bit.
And with a decree of yours, you will annihilate them. Ya Rahman Rahimin, you annihilated. And you destroyed the likes of Ad and Thamud and Fir'aun. These are the Fir'auns and the Ad and Thamud of today. Ya Rahman Rahimin, we ask you, Ya Allah, destroy them. Destroy them, Allah. Take them off the service of...
And the them, as the reel goes on, the them is the Christians and the Jews.
Well, non-believers.
And the infidels. I mean, this goes from Dearborn to, as I said, Kansas City. Here it is. This is the Kansas City Islamic Center. Oh, Allah, support us against the infidels as you promised us.
Allah.
Unbelievable. Destroy all the enemies of
destroy
Islam.
all the enemies of Islam. Allah destroy all the enemies of Islam. May Allah destroy them completely and show in us the great signs of Allah in their utter destruction, annihilation, humiliation.
This is going on American soil, and it is proliferating. It is a scary thing. No wonder we have attacks on our soil, and you wonder how many more are to come, and how many have been thwarted out that we never even hear about.
Yeah, I mean, when somebody's whole MO is to destroy you, it makes diplomacy really hard, which I think is why. I think Trump has come around to the fact of like maybe we do need regime change, maybe. We have to do what we're currently doing because, again, when you talk about things like,
the senator,
if our goal is you behave and leave us alone, and we'll behave and leave you alone, then you can come to an agreement, right? You can draw a line, a border, whatever you want, and you can say, okay, but if our whole thing is you behave, don't kill us, and you leave me alone, and their whole goal, they don't care about themselves, they don't care about their own people, their whole goal is our only win is if we destroy you. There's not a lot, like, you can't really, There's not a lot in the middle there.
They're taking advantage of a basic American principle, right? Which is sort of it's a libertarian principle. And that is, like you say, you do you, I'll do me. As long as you don't hurt me and you don't bother me, I don't care. That's fine.
And the
right?
other thing, for a long
that's
time, look at the U.S. and China. There's another tension there where it's just okay, you do the best you can, we'll do the best we can, and we'll see who wins.
Yeah.
Right, but that's not these people's goal. They don't want to do the best they can. They don't want to make their country richer. They don't want to build it up. They want to destroy us. That's the only goal. And so it makes diplomacy really hard.
And here's the leader of yeah, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say anybody, and it's been a number of years, anybody who studied comparative religions back in school said the Quran talked about the people of the book being, not quite non-believers, being people of the book, meaning the Jews and the Christians, and they should be respected. Those are the Abrahamic religions and all. And, we've watched the radicals over the years now kind of spin the real message of Islam into one of hate.
Man alive. Well, then, in a very moving piece and a speech, 5 minutes long, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but Senator Tim Sheehy from Montana, who is a Navy SEAL, he's a leader of a SEAL team. Well, here's just a little bit of it. I mean, it really brought it home last night. I got to thinking, and I know it's supposed to be a feel-good Friday, but I think in this election season, it's important that we do talk about our world, what's going on around us, our country, where it's headed. Not apocalyptic, the sky is falling. I mean, we've had threats to the democracy before, but we've seen this happen in Europe, where the welcoming in, the open borders, the whole European Union thing, sort of travel everywhere you want. We're all one. We've seen the migration from Northern Africa come up, and we've seen some of the violence against women just rampantly in Germany and others, just gangs of people attacking women during New Year's celebrations and others. And here's Senator Sheehy. I think really a wake-up call, a rhetorical slap in the face to his fellow senators, if you will.
From Montana.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yesterday we saw the President of the United States and many others at Dover Air Force Base presiding over a ceremony that is very sacred to those of us who served, and that is a dignified return of remains from the war zone. And that process happens beginning in the war zone through Dover to the hometown of our fallen heroes. I participated in many of those ceremonies myself, to include carrying friends of mine off the plane. One of those is on this bracelet. He was cut in half by an Iranian EFP. This regime that we are fighting does not care about our partisan politics. They don't care who you voted for, who you pray to, or where you live. They want to kill all of us. And they don't just say it, they actually do it. And they've been doing it for 47 years.
He was quite emotional. He was quite moving in his presentation. He offered examples of the Achille Lauro, of the Beirut bombing, the Marines that were lost, and he went on.
These days, both sides of that, I love to attack our forever wars. And I can promise you, being someone overseas wearing the uniform, when you're fighting for your country, you don't care what party's in office, but you're fighting to defend your country. And you turn on the news and see your elected officials stabbing you in the back, telling you that you're failing, that you failed every goal of the war, is what I just heard. Last time I checked, we've wiped these bastards out. An occasional missile strike and boats in the Straits, that's not military strength. Those are the flailings of a failing empire. Those are the flailings of a nation in collapse because they deserve it. So I encourage our colleagues on both sides of the aisle, whatever's politically convenient, whatever plays well on Twitter or Facebook, think about the people who are deployed right now, standing on that wall with a loaded weapon, who have volunteered to defend our country and our way of life. Because they are there defending us in a just war. Because we did not start a war with the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. They started it with us 47 years ago.
And I got to thinking, I've even said it. Well, Trump started this. No, he didn't start this war. They started this war. And I guess we lose the perspective of time. They have started this carnage with, as you described, Stephanie, that worldview that if you're not with us, we're going to kill you. It's not we're going to outcompete you. It's not we're going to get along. We're going to kill you. And everyone who thinks out there that it's just about the Jews, think again. It isn't. Man, it was a powerful speech. It was, and for a guy that's been there and done there, and he's carried those bodies off the plane. Every time I see that, it makes you weep when you see a casket come off the plane.
It made me weepy, but it also said, when you said, we got these bastards. And like kind of was motivating too. Like we're winning. But,
you know what else got me on that scene the other day? Donald Trump. Say what you want about Trump, but he stood there solemnly with his salute, and so did the people around him. And I think about the image of Joe Biden in the same setting, looking at his watch, like, when is this over? When I can get back to my beach house and let Jill take care of my chair,
to my oatmeal and my
nap. Let me get my ice cream cone. When's this over? Man, this was an epic speech. It made me feel good that I think those senators who were sitting there, they'll go back and they'll can their speeches. They'll be next up on the dais, so that their handlers and their comms people can take their photo ops, but they're convicted on this one. And when they were trying to give Hegseth some grief about more money, give me a break. They fund shrimp on treadmills, and they fund, LGBTQ theater in Brazil. Don't talk to me about not funding the troops.
I believe the LGBTQ theater was in Ireland, actually.
Oh, I thought it was in Guyana or Brazil. I'm not sure.
They had a couple of them.
Yeah, well, And again, if you want to have your LGBTQ theater, I don't care. That's not in the Constitution. It's not my deal, man. I don't want to pay for it. You do what you do. That's good. Fine. Whatever. I'll pray for you. Don't ask me to pay for you. Back with the Daily
Sounds like a T-shirt.
Back with the Daily DC Rundown in a minute.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
both directly and indirectly. Let's do a deal. Let's talk. Iran is begging every day. The problem with Iran is every time they make a deal, the people that are in charge there, they either break it or they want to change it. So it looks like they're not ready to make a deal. So they're going to continue to pay a price. And every night the price gets higher and higher and higher.
Here's Marco Rubio. Here's Stephanie. Daily DC Rundown.
Iran rejected another ceasefire proposal, and the U.S. carried out a 13th consecutive night of strikes. The House passed another war powers resolution while the Senate rejected a similar effort, and oil has climbed above $100 per barrel. Anyone seen the latest gas prices?
I thought this was a few other
$3.89.
Yikes.
Yeah. Not feeling good about that.
Yes, and it's causing a lot of debate in Washington. Of course, it's expensive to continue this war. We've got service members who have been killed, and I think that puts a lot of pressure on our elected leaders. But at the same time, as you played that clip earlier, Randy, those, I think it's time to get behind the men and women who are defending our country and stop talking about it and just do what needs to be done.
And, Trump, apparently, according to Rubio, he's just not listening to them anymore. He's just not going to listen to them anymore. I think it's going to be epic fury. Who knows?
Yeah. At the same time, in Congress, House Republicans are gone for August recess. That leaves the Senate in a bit of a lurch. The Save America Act remains stalled. It seems wild to me, especially after all the new data about the systems. It's just crazy. And we've got the $95 billion reconciliation package in jeopardy because apparently Thune doesn't have the votes. So
what in the Murkowski, and of course Tillis is butthurt, right? Because he got primaried.
It's so frustrating because of course the whole pressure for the midterms is so that we can keep Republicans in power, so we can continue President Trump's agenda. But we have power right now and we're not using it, right?
Yeah,
so I'm frustrated this morning about this.
Well, Tillis is not running, so he's acting out. Murkowski, she's saying that $1,000 it'll cost for some remote Alaskan people to register to vote. Give me a break.
And I think Randy said this yesterday, but the Saudi deal is getting a little bit more complicated because the White House is now saying that the whole deal depends on Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords.
He listens. Trump listens.
He said yesterday should have been part of the deal. Apparently the condition was not part of the signed agreement, but Trump said that's what they actually agreed to. So the White House is now trying to clarify the deal.
I love it.
I think you said "told you so." That you wanted that, and
I wanted
apparently
it, and I got it.
Well, we'll see. Also, we are starting to hear whispers about the 2028 presidential race from the Democrats. The Democrat leaders are trying to decide which states vote first in the presidential primary. Now, again, once you get that first one under your belt, that often determines who wins the primary. So Nevada and South Carolina are both battling for this spot for first. Virginia is also lobbying to become one of the early states. And again, the order can dramatically shape how those early primaries look, which can dramatically influence who ends up as the ultimate nominee.
Did you see that AOC won up in the New Hampshire poll? There was a poll in New Hampshire. Maybe they'll be the first.
I can't.
Yeah, and set the stage. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Democrats are still focused on the midterms. Susan Collins is public enemy number one. They've launched a $2 million ad campaign against her. They believe that she is the most vulnerable Senate incumbent, and the ads are really focusing on abortion and congressional stock trading.
Yeah.
I think they have a problem there, though.
What's going on in Maine? The maple syrup tainted? Did it ferment?
It's a tough road. And Randy, I know, I'm surprised you haven't brought this up because I know you were having your own party at home finding out that OpenAI, during internal testing, one of its systems breached another company's servers to find information without being instructed to do so. It went rogue. Now, of course, this all happened in a controlled environment, but Randy's AI gloom and doom, I'm sure you were having a party.
That's two told you so's. I'm working for the hat trick this morning. I'm waiting for the hat trick.
Remember the line from Terminator?
There you go.
Skynet has become self-aware.
I'll be back in 5.
inside that, or the alarm is calling, the call is coming from inside the house over there, and you've got a bunch of folks that are doing things that should be illegal, if not already. I mean, frankly, several people in the court should probably be impeached by now. So I think that what we should actually do is consider some of the common sense solutions. There should probably be at least one judge for each circuit court in the United States. So that would be about, 13 or so? That's how it originally started. We have 9 because we had 9 circuit courts. And then as we grew those circuit courts, if I'm not mistaken, we never accommodated the court size.
So she's saying it out loud. There's your presidential nominee for the Democrat Party in 2028, AOC, saying that they'll pack the court. Thune's having a hard time getting the Save America Act thing done under reconciliation. And he doesn't even have enough votes to bust the filibuster, he has said. I've heard him say. Will it take less than a red-hot minute for the Democrats to do that if and when they gain power, Stephanie Bell?
Oh, no. I think they are very good about getting in line.
They'll break the filibuster. They'll pack the court, right?
Right.
D.C. will have 2 senators. Puerto Rico will be next.
Yep.
They've said it. Thune said it. Jeffries, they've all said it. And yet
we'll start funding those events in Ireland. What was that theater?
It was the LGBTQ
theater.
Yeah.
We'll restore their funding.
Yeah.
To be fair, do they really need special funding for that kind of theater? I feel like if you watch a bunch of Irish people in theater, it's pretty LGBTQ anyways.
I don't know. Those drag queen outfits aren't cheap.
No, that's true.
Isn't it?
John would know.
I would worry.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess, isn't it Massey who has the little button that has the debt ticker?
Oh, yeah, yes.
I worry for anyone who wears that debt ticker if the Democrats get in power, or that it will just be going so fast it might light on fire.
Oh, that spontaneously, yeah, they'd immolate, yeah. The friction would just
fan, yeah.
It's just crazy, I mean. But then again, I was on an interview the other day, and I was asked, okay, AOC, Buttigieg, Newsom, and I was asked, what do you think about that? What do you think about these people? I'm like, I'm going to answer this in brief, succinct text terms. Bring, period, it, period, on, period. That would be the best thing that could happen to America. It would bring to the platform of discussion, to everyone's, shine the light on it. And people would be able to understand exactly what it could mean. I, for one, think it would be a fabulous thing. I'd love to see AOC as the nominee. Be fabulous.
Don't get me wrong. I think she's stupid, but I mean, she's charismatic. And I don't think that my take on AOC, since I've started paying attention to politics, is that she's not a bad person. She's just stupid. And I feel like, she's pretty much a good person. People will vote for a good person over, whoever's been in bed with Trump.
Well, she could be a good person, but be an awful citizen.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But people say, well, she's nice, so I'm going to vote for her.
Or people vote for her because she's a cutie.
She's not cute or pretty. I don't know where that
I don't find her pretty. What is it? 573-874-9390. Okay, guys, this is a guy question out there. Do you find AOC attractive? Maybe it's because of her politics. Is that somehow, tainting my view of her? I don't know. I don't find her. She's as attractive as the grill on my truck. She's just not attractive.
It's
and I've got a big A truck.
And I mean, people have talked about it. And there's something about being, moderately. I mean, you don't have to be that attractive to be more attractive than the other people.
Well, she's not Ugly, but she's not
in Congress.
Attractive.
I mean, the bar is not very high, but I think conventionally people would consider her attractive.
I don't see it. I'm sorry. I'm really trying to find the angle now.
573
big jaw. I mean, that thing bigger, more defined than me.
Horse teeth, she
needs some.
A big.
Let me do some research.
573-874-9390, 800-529-5572.
But
man, if this isn't gratuitous radio.
We heard who was it? Steve. We played the audio when Jen was here, and he talked about how when you're ugly on the inside, suddenly you become ugly on the outside. You know? And I think when you harbor all of this hate, it starts to reflect on the outside of your body. And I think maybe that's what you're saying, Randy, is that you can't get over the fact that she has all this hatred.
Everything's bad. Hate.
Yeah, that it makes her, to you, ugly on the outside.
Maybe, that could be. Now, who I find really attractive in terms of women attractiveness?
Oh
God,
I can't wait to hear this.
Katie Britt.
Okay.
Because she is the model American. She's a mom. Says she speaks with a smile when she talks, but yet she's very firm. But I just find her and not in a sexual kind of a way, but just all around attractive woman.
Nope, good poll. I looked it up. Definitely thumbs up from Drake.
For who?
Katie Britt.
Yeah, she's attractive. No, I wouldn't hot, but I don't. Hot doesn't mean anything. Attractive. 573-874-9390. Let's see what the text line says, guys out there. Let us know what you think. Do you find wasn't Nancy Mace sort of considered an attractive little hottie?
Don't ever say that again, Randy.
This is going off the rails.
Well, Bruce says that Randy, Drake, John, I have to admit, I think she's pretty darn good looking, but that's as far as it goes. Okay, well, there's one. Did I say his name? Oh, I hope his wife isn't listening. Philip says a solid 6.
There you go.
That's great. Oh, man. Shannon, she looks like this is a he, Shannon. She looks like a horse.
Yeah, I was making donkey noises back here while Stephanie was talking, and Randy started laughing and kind of threw her off track.
I thought about the hee-haw.
Somebody's going to weigh in with a Capitol Hill 10, pair of 2s and a 6-pack,
Y'all.
Brendan says she's Bernie Sanders with, oops, I can't say that.
I think I should.
Remember you asked. So he likes her curvy parts.
Oh my gosh. I think I should say, though, that it feels bizarre. It feels weird that we're talking about only women, in that it matters for men, too. I mean, why do you think Gavin Newsom is kind of leading amongst the Democrats? Because people think he's good looking. I mean, look at Bill Clinton apparently had, a lot of charisma. And
when at GQ or Politico, somebody said that John Thune was attractive because of his really nice business attire suits.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you can increase your attractiveness by if you know how to dress well.
Yeah.
That's fair.
One texter references. We're getting a lot of interaction
Be
here.
careful
Thanks, guys.
Before
this is
you
good.
just read them live.
No, I'm not
I'm
reading.
Sure some of them are not radio appropriate.
One texter comments on what I think is a general trend in the general appeal of women to men in America. I mean, it goes through cycles, right? Rubenesque women, then small or other parts and other bigger parts, and so. My son tells me that Sean just turned 39. He tells me among his friends and older buddies and stuff that right now sort of a bigger caboose is a popular thing, right? Large caboose?
It was.
Is that going out of style now?
We're drifting away.
But okay.
Yeah.
Is that going away?
No,
so what's coming in now?
The Kardashians, Sydney Sweeney and
Yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
Is, I think, changing the game a little bit there.
Well,
in the break, I'll brief you in a non-radio format so you can bring it to the radio format, because I cannot do this.
I know, but look, you can't deny it. God created women's attractiveness for a reason, right? It's all designed for a reason. And when you walk through a museum and you look at the classics, they often involve paintings and, portrayals of beautiful women, strong, muscular men, right? I mean, there is sort of that prototype. You look at the Sistine Chapel, you look at, there's a certain sort of a standard that has survived the ages, right? And when you see beauty, you know it, right? I mean, it's a wide lane, but I think it's fairly well defined in art.
I mean,
isn't
I think Yeah,
It is.
but we kind of go through phases. Certainly, when I was growing up, it was, really, really thin, right?
Yes,
Like
yes.
late 80s, early 90s, you wanted to be just rail thin.
Well, that was a recapitulation of the Twiggy thing back in the, yeah.
Right. And then we got into the Kardashians, and
Yeah.
it was like more popular to be kind of curvy and all of that. And
Yeah.
then we kind of got into, I don't know, the like body positivity,
Yeah,
and you could
yeah.
be whatever you wanted. And now I think we're getting back to like healthy.
Yeah,
A healthy
balance.
balance. But I do think, a lot of celebrities have been criticized lately because you can tell they are taking the Ozempic a little bit too seriously. And I think I think when people are like, wow, you are thin, but you look unhealthily thin. I
Yes.
think it is a step in the right direction, saying, yeah, it's important. We understand as someone who is, a celebrity, you want to
Yeah,
look
yeah.
good, but there's a line at
Right,
where
right.
you cross the line and become unhealthy. And I think as a woman who's raising young daughters, that, that's a sensitive subject about how we talk about weight and how we talk about fueling our body and how we talk about other people's body
Yeah,
and judge folks. So
How do you talk about that?
Oh, it's tough.
We only use the word health.
Yeah.
You want to eat healthy. You need to look healthy. Because if you use that word weight or fat or, oh boy, that a lot of kids will just go the other direction because they're already very sensitive to it.
Yeah, I mean, we try to be careful.
Yeah.
I think as they get older and into the teen years, we're going to have to be even more
Yeah,
careful.
yeah.
But many, they're pretty active,
Mhm.
and so we do focus on, hey, like you can't just eat chips. You need to eat some protein. You need to fuel your body because you're not going to feel good on the field if you don't have enough fuel for your body.
Right.
So we focus on making sure you feel prepared and feel good.
That's a good segue
That
to
is
make
good.
Missouri healthy again. There's a story out now that is chronicling what some of us are seeing. I think if you ask anyone who's in the medical deal, will tell you there can be a downside to the whole GLP-1 craze. And we'll talk about that when we come back on Make Missouri Healthy Again.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
Welcome back to Wake Up Missouri. You know, in this edition of Make Missouri Healthy Again, I want to highlight the fabulous things that GLP-1s are doing. Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, Zepbound. Soon there'll be one that acts like 3 intestinal hormones called retatrutide. That's coming from Lilly. They've applied for now FDA
and people
approval.
have been kind of getting that on the side.
Yeah, you can get it in the gray market too.
And I've heard good things about it, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's going to be there. It's going to be good. Meanwhile, the FDA is working on trying to liberalize legitimate access to peptides. But, you know, like, how many times do we talk about good things that have a double edge to the sword, right? I mean, it seems to be a fact of life.
Too much of a good thing.
For every good thing, like, you know, any medication, any supplement has a potential downside, right?
Too much lettuce could do you dirty right now.
It's turning out that we're seeing a whole new wave of people that are developing eating disorders after being on these things because they get to where they're so obsessed with the new image that then whether they stay on them in a microdosing way or whether they go off them, they can develop an eating disorder. Did you know that anorexia nervosa is the second leading cause of death among certain age groups, second to opioid? I wasn't aware of that. It kills a higher percentage of patients than any other eating disorder. It's the second most deadly mental illness after opioid addiction. I wasn't aware of that. Here's the practical advice for those of you who are on there, and I know many of you are on there, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing for many. I'm seeing patients that are calling, say, I'm losing my hair. I feel weak. I don't have strength. And I start testing things that I would have never imagined would have been in a person eating, normal person eating a regular diet. Low B12, low folic acid, it's really weird what I'm seeing. And I know docs out there who are doing this and helping patients along with medically supervised weight loss are seeing this too. You can, like you said, too much of a good thing and too rapid of weight loss can, for instance, for you women, you start dropping a bunch of pounds real quickly. That resets the hair follicles to where they're all synchronized now and not growing in random ways and falling out and recruiting and growing and starting, which is the normal case, which is why you normally maintain a head of hair, unless you're Randy. And what happens is it's like what happens at delivery. The estrogen resets everything, and 6 months later, it's like, what's going on?
I was bald.
It's pretty common.
That's when
common.
I started doing the fake hair. Because after pregnancy, I lost a lot of hair.
I love you know what that word is? It's a beautiful word. Telogen effluvium. What a beautiful word. Telogen
it doesn't feel very good when it's
No, I know, but it's a fun word, but it's not fun for women. But anyway, so anytime you have a major stress to your body and you drop 40 pounds in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, that's a stress. You may not feel like it is.
The other thing you deal with when you drop weight that much is like loose skin.
Yes.
Your body doesn't really have time to catch up. And
I have a lot of patients, we set some ideal body weight protein goals for people. They just can't eat it. They just can't. I can't get that much. They struggle to do it.
I struggle with that.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard. I mean, 120 grams of protein a day. Like, I don't want to eat that much chicken.
Yeah.
So you see me drinking a lot of protein shakes. I think for me, that's the easiest way to get it. It's not, I know it's like not always ideal because the protein shakes have other ingredients, but sometimes it's like the only way I can choke down that much protein in a day.
You're right. It's a good way to do that. And I guess my advice is, you have to be very attentive to nutrition, not just calories, but nutrition. Calories are just purely energy for your body. Nutrition is information for your genes. It's building blocks for your body. And those are different things than and information to how things are programmed and how the program's working. So be careful about being too this is why we tend to customize the dosing. And people are not having as much of that if they do it more carefully, more graduated. So, just be careful. Don't just dive off the cliff and lose 60 pounds in 3 months because there'll be some ramifications in many cases. Make sure that you're paying attention to nutrition. Don't get obsessed with it. Don't get anorectic because of your Wegovy. That's Make Missouri Healthy Again. For now, Governor Mike Keogh joins us in a few. Stay tuned.
from the Zimmer Radio Network headquarters.
We've been taught to believe that this kind of political violence, it simply doesn't exist. And today we face a new wave of this old evil.
It's your morning addiction.
We will pursue maximum pressure on this.
Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell, the Zimmer News Team.
And engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening.
And now introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Thank you for being with us on this Feel Good Friday. It always feels real good when we're privileged to talk with the governor of Missouri. His name is Mike Kehoe, and Mike joins us now. Governor Kehoe, thanks for being with us. Is he there? The governor is here. Yes? Are you there? Governor Kehoe, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
I'm here, Randy.
Welcome into Wake Up Missouri. Thanks for being with us. Hey, we wanted to talk about Amendment 4 and 5. Of course, big election coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Early voting has started. And reportedly, I saw this morning reports that not as good as the general presidential election year, but for a midterm year primary, reportedly around the state, people are getting out and voting early.
That's good. I mean, you want that. What our Constitution and our Republic was formed off of is giving people the opportunity to vote, and we love seeing good turnout.
Okay, so we wanted to talk about Amendment 4 and 5, and your stance on those, of course. But I saw that Eric Schmidt, Senator Schmidt, and the entire congressional delegation signed a letter in support of your request, dating back to July 9th, for a major disaster declaration. Can you give us a status on that and where we are? Can you get some relief for those southeastern counties that were flooded?
Yeah, certainly. I'm grateful for our congressional delegation signing on in a nonpartisan way to let the feds know that Missourians need some assistance, specifically the Crawford, Iron, and Reynolds County area where we had that horrific 12 inches of rain in just a matter of hours. So that we'll work through the process with them, but certainly having your congressional delegation sign on to the request is very helpful, and we're grateful for that. So we've worked really well with FEMA, and we're going to continue to do that. Those counties are still going through some assessment issues down there, but we're working right alongside of them with our state emergency management agency, and we'll work through it and get the best we can out of it.
Now, as voters head to the polls, early voting has begun. So some people have already voted, but folks can walk in and vote today if they want. They face a pretty big choice on the future of our state, specifically with respect to Amendment 5 and our tax structure. Can you talk to us about Amendment 5?
Sure. Well, good morning, Stephanie. This is what I campaigned on and what Missourians said that they wanted. And that is to eventually phase out and eliminate our state's income tax. Now, we've got a lot of special interest groups, mainly lobbyists, et cetera, who have loopholes in the current system who don't like that. So I always say follow the money. Mm-hmm. But what this does is puts money back into Missourians' pockets. The average family up to $3,000 a year, all while letting the legislature rewrite a outdated sales tax code to make sure that we don't lose any essential services to first responders, education, any of the other issues that Missourians count on state government to fund and work through. So this is a plan that puts it forward to let Missourians vote on it. The legislature put this plan through both the House and Senate last year in a very transparent way, and now Missourians get to choose. Again, this is what we voted on. We think this makes us competitive with other states. It's a huge issue for us if we want to grow our population and grow economic opportunities for Missourians of all ages. We need to make sure that we have a competitive environment. We think eliminate the state's income tax certainly puts us in one of those receiver states instead of one of those exodus states for population.
You mentioned the competitive environment, and as a business owner, I think we all do that, right? Like we look at our competitors, and you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. If someone's out competing you, you can say, what are they doing, and try to copy that. And I think here, when we look around the country, the states that are really winning are these states with no income tax. I know you're really involved, for example, in the Republican Governors Association. You talk to folks in the other states. What are you hearing from the leaders in these other states where their economy's really rocking and rolling?
Well, quite frankly, this is it. They're actually a state that's receiving population into their state because of their tax policy, because of their regulation policy. As you know, we've got a lot of things happening to get regulations in check here in the state for businesses, which as a small business owner, I'm happy we're doing that. But we've got to have competitive tax policy, to your point. And you can look at Florida, which, has an ocean around three sides, or there's Texas, which is almost the size of Europe. But I look at Tennessee as a model. And if you look at what's happened in Tennessee over the past decades, you've seen unbelievable growth. And you're right. I'm very good friends with Governor Bill Lee. We talk about this all the time. And if you asked him one reason why his state is growing like it is, he would tell you this is it. Eliminating the income tax puts us competitive with those other states. Missouri is in a great place to grow. We're in the middle of a shipping and logistics area of our country. We're in the middle of plant, food sciences, life sciences, all the things we have going on, manufacturing, a great work ethics. I'll put Missourians against any state in the union for work ethic. We just need a couple more pieces of the puzzle to really take off. And if we do, our population grows. And it's just like a business. If you're stagnant and you're not growing, you're dying. You need to grow your population. And believe me, there's plenty of states in the United States, mainly blue states, that people are looking to get out of. And Missouri needs to be that welcoming state to bring more of these good folks into our state.
Governor Mike Kehoe joins us on Wake Up Missouri, at Gov Mike Kehoe on X. And I saw you addressing one of the myths. You have to do a lot of myth busting in one of these campaigns, I know. And one of the myths is that this is going to open the doors for rampant spending and taxing on the part of the legislature. And, you pointed out very, very astutely that that's not the case. There's guardrails in this thing. Can you address that?
Sure. It's fierce. If you can't win on the issues, what you do is you just drive fear into somebody on an issue and confuse them. Absolutely, positively, in the constitutional amendment, this is the only amendment that you can get to that really actually stops spending, that controls what legislators can do as far as any type of taxes. And remember, as we relook at our sales tax model, which hasn't been looked at for over 100 years, the legislation in this constitutional amendment is clear. The legislature can never, ever, ever have a runaway sales tax position, not by one penny. That's different than what the offset is to phasing out the income tax. So this notion that there's going to be some runaway taxes and you're going to let the legislature go, no, it's exactly opposite. We've cut over $2 billion in spending since we've been in office. We've got ways to go. Just because Missourians entrust us with their money doesn't mean we should spend it all. This actually puts the guardrails on what the legislature can do in a more efficient and accountable manner than we've ever had before in the history of the state.
Governor, I know these guys can get your take on where you stand on Amendment 4, but I wanted to ask you about, we had David Tyson Smith, the Democrat from Columbia, on the other day, who brought up your signing of the bill to increase speed limits on rural interstates, 70, 44, 55, in the rural areas to 75 miles an hour. His take was, hold off on it until the I-70 construction's done. What's your thought?
Well, you will see a lot of that. Representative Smith does do a good job. We don't agree on everything, but I have a lot of respect for him. And as you know, John, that was part of a larger transportation bill. So there was a lot of pieces in that bill that were really important to our state to get done for our transportation. As I-70 gets built, to his point and to your point, you're going to see construction zones on almost the whole 200-mile corridor anyway. So I think the reduced speed limit while they're building that will be in effect. And certainly when that whole corridor gets open, it will be available for the new speed limit.
As long as we're talking about good governance and doing the right thing, irrespective of partisan politics, we have to give kudos to Representative Smith and others who worked with him, and you for getting this House Bill 2372. And this was the protection against the anesthesia thing, to where they turn the machine off once the operation's gone on for an hour, right? And I think it was a very, very good thing. So thanks for that.
You bet. They did a great job. That was another bill. The media, not you guys, of course, you're the good media, but a lot of the media tends to get caught up in this very bipartisan, and everybody's fighting at the Capitol all the time. There's issues we don't agree on, but that's a great example, Randy, of issues that is common sense that we can agree on and work to get across the finish line.
Now, another Missourian making big headlines this week, our own Sophie Cunningham. And I think she said, look, I said what I said. It's common sense. We really have some common sense folks here in Missouri making us proud, right?
You know, that girl, I love that girl. I mean, not only the way she's able to play her sport, but just the way she's just, one of those people that says, common sense things all the time, including this. And, this isn't an issue. I just can't wrap my arms around this being an issue because we have girls' sports and we have men's sports. And if you let men play in girls' sports, then you just have sports. So it boggles my mind that this would catch this much attention. I'm proud of her for just speaking her mind, but it was a common sense answer and, it just takes off like wildfire, which is crazy. Girls should play girls' sports. I'm the father of 3 daughters. Trust me. I don't want dudes in the locker room with them. I don't want guys competing with them for records. This is the way the sports world is made up. And if you don't want to do that, don't have girls soccer, don't have men's soccer, don't have all these divisions of sports. Just have one sport and see how it goes. I would tell you that the American public doesn't want it that way.
Common sense from Governor Mike Keogh. We've got to ask you before we run here. I'm seeing an awful lot of money poured into an awful lot of ads, Governor, against, well, not only Amendment 5, but Amendment 4 as well. And yet Amendment 4 seems to be more representative. It allows more representation when it comes to constitutional amendments, reining in rampant constitutional amendment process, but also spreading the say of the voters across all of Missouri rather than just in the concentrated areas. Your thoughts?
Yeah, we've seen large dump truckloads of money come in on issues, whether it's the pro-abortion issue we saw in November of 24 or some of the recreational marijuana, add hundreds of pages to our Constitution. And that money came from outside of Missouri to literally buy what our Constitution is going to say. Missourians don't want our Constitution for sale. We should still have a process where citizens can go through an initiative petition process, which Amendment 4 will still allow that. Yes, it definitely makes the bar higher. But the reason behind that is so that outside interest groups come in and just don't buy our Constitution. It should be the old-fashioned way the Founding Fathers designed it to be. And I think Missourians would join me in saying we can't let these outside groups come in and continue to buy our Constitution.
Well, thanks for your advocacy on that. I know it's some heavy lifting to get these things passed this coming election, but appreciate all you're doing. Hopefully, folks will stay with you on @GovMikeKehoe on the Twitter, on the X. Thanks for being with us. Have a great weekend, Governor.
Always great to join you guys. Have a great weekend as well. Thank you.
So, would you get into a scuffle that resulted in killing over a parking contract? An Ethiopian did. Talk about that when we come back.
It's Wake Up
What is it that triggers people to go into such a rage that they do just dastardly, unimaginable things? The story of this, where else but in Minnesota?
Of course.
Is it something about the cold that makes them crazy up there?
You gotta wonder. Maybe it's the booze that they drink to deal with the cold. Yeah.
I mean, we got our crazy boss, Peter. I mean, there's crazy politicians. There's just crazy people up there. I don't get it.
Well, Peter, come to think of it, Peter did spend
my relatives
time up in Minnesota. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great White North. That's what are they? They break the record for the world consumption of brandy.
Really?
Yeah, even over Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Minnesota?
How else are they supposed to stay
Minnesota,
warm?
Wisconsin, all those folks up there.
Wisconsin? Brandy and cheese. Oh, what a way to go.
The Great White North.
Wait, cheese is Wisconsin, not Minnesota.
I know, so you mix two. Minnesota.
No, Wisconsin is so much better than Minnesota.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
have you
no.
been to Madison?
No.
Your skin turns blue
People's
the minute
Republic of Madison? Man.
you cross the city limits and your skin turns blue.
I haven't went.
I just went actually, and I actually thought it was really beautiful because this city is got the lakes on both sides.
I know. I interviewed there for medical school. Decided not to go there.
Up there to Lake Minnetonka and all that.
I won't do that. So this Ethiopian dude has a contract with the apartment building, and he decides he's going to go into the Navy, so maybe he wasn't illegal. I don't know. He became enraged over a $65 parking deck contract. He walks into the office of the apartment building, and he kills 3 people with a 9mm.
Over $65.
He told an employee who answered the phone that he was coming to the office. 2 of them were shot 6 times each, and one was shot as she tried to escape through a back office window. Wow, man, what in the world? But I think look, on a larger sphere, I know this is crazy, right? This is crazy, not only in the moment, but this guy is crazy. He's literally, and I hope that isn't a legitimate defense for him, for crying out loud. But you can load the crazy man's mental health, brain. But in order to fire it, firing it is crazy, but loading it, doesn't that amount to some of the permissive letting people get by with lower levels of violence and having it all over the TV and the radio and the X, and where violent protests are now called peaceful protests? And sort of, we've come to accept violence in this country. And for people like this, who are easily triggered, I think that gun is loaded, literally and figuratively, for them. It just, you see politicians that justify it. Who's the influencer that's backing all the crazies, Graham Plattner and others? Piker.
Sean Piker.
He said that the conservatives ought to be killed, right? I mean, there's this fevered pitch for violence as a solution to people's political and policy differences. So if you're the little guy who's unhappy about your contract, you go, well, look at what's going on in the streets. They're assaulting the cops. They're lighting cops' cars on fire during BLM riots. What was it? 24 cops were killed or more. Hey, what the heck? I'm not happy. I'm going to go and smoke some people in the apartment building office. Really? Oh, we're going to talk with Moon Choi coming up at 8 o'clock. At 7:35, and we're going to ask him about AI and if his college professors are doing what one other college professor did, along with some other fun stuff. Stay tuned for Moon Choi, president of the University of Missouri, coming up.
Has America been fair to Donald Trump? The people always know.
Welcome back into Wake Up Missouri on this Feel Good Friday. Thanks for being with us, and we thank the president of the University of Missouri System, Moon Choi, for joining us. Thanks for being with us.
Well, it's great to be with you.
Hey, I got to ask you something. A lot of people are buzzing about the stadium and seeing everything really come to fruition and, really looking good as you drive down Stadium Boulevard there, and things looking good. How are we doing? We on time? We on budget?
Oh, yeah. We're on time. We're on budget. And as amazing as it looks from the outside on Stadium Drive, if you see it from the field, it's just massive, and it's very imposing. It'll be imposing to opposing teams.
Talk to us about what that means for the university as far as recruitment. I mean, we're in the SEC. We have to compete with the big guys. What does this project mean for us?
Well, that's what it was. And the board of curators were very, very, very insistent that we need to compete at the highest level. And for us to be able to now have a stadium that can be the envy of many, many teams in the SEC says a lot about our commitment to football and to athletics. It is that front porch, and we want to make sure that this north end zone made a statement about where Mizzou football and the university is headed.
Now, I want to congratulate you. I'm seeing articles break overnight that you earned high marks of approval in the new faculty review. Apparently, every 2 years, they survey the faculty about how they think you're doing. And I think that might be a little, it's difficult, right? Oftentimes you see tension between university leadership and the faculty. And I think, the faculty can be a difficult bunch sometimes. But you apparently they think highly of you, and they continue to. The I think survey is better than it was even 2 years ago. Talk to us about your relationship with the faculty and how you approach that.
As a whole, I believe that it is continuing to improve, which is wonderful for the health of the university. And you're right, Stephanie. There's always a healthy tension between administration and the faculty. And I've had my share of disagreements with some members of the faculty. But even those that I have had disagreements with, I know that they care deeply about their work, which involves training and educating students for, their next phase of their professional and personal development, doing great research, and as a land-grant university, meeting the needs of the state. So while we have differences, we can discuss them, maybe come to a consensus agreement, but I know that for sure that I don't question their commitment to the university.
That's President of the University of Missouri, Moon Choi, joining us on Wake Up Missouri.
Dr. Choi, talk to us about challenges at the state capitol with no secret that the budget surplus is going away over there. Are you concerned about funding for the university system?
I'm always concerned about funding for the University of Missouri system. We believe that we represent a great value to citizens of Missouri, and that we deliver results, whether the results are high graduation rates and high placement rates so that our students can get jobs or go to grad school after graduation, or the research that we do. Just recently, the UMKC, leading efforts for the University of Missouri system, received $160 million for critical minerals project. And Missouri S&T, also another part of our system, received $38 million from Department of Commerce for a different part of the critical minerals research. And so these projects that are not only going to advance R&D so that we could take back the outsourcing that was created 30, 40 years ago, but to make the United States more competitive in manufacturing semiconductors, batteries, and high technology goods, but also create the economic impact locally. And so we are demonstrating our value each and every day. So for us, with that value, we expect to have both federal as well as state funds. But we also recognize that we are part of the state. And when the state has difficulties, we know that difficulty will face us as well. We just have to be prepared.
Well, as a graduate of UMSL too many years ago, President Choi, I'm just hoping that they can get a new ice cream machine there in the student union because it was always broken down.
Well, it's not broken down. When was the last time you were there? I'll make sure that I serve you a nice scoop of ice cream next time you come.
I'm kidding you. I do want to ask you, though, if we were flies on the wall, if there was a bug in the boardroom, there's a lot of talk nationally about the value of college. And parents are scratching their heads looking at student debt. And students are looking at it and go, I don't know. I need a vocational education. I don't need to learn about basket weaving in Botswana. How are you guys addressing that? I mean, is there a tectonic change in the philosophy of the offerings and sort of the general worldview of what a university is offering these days?
When we talk about affordability, our goal is to not discuss just tuition. First of all, the University of Missouri system and all public universities in the state of Missouri have low tuition. But low tuition is relative. We want to be able to provide an affordable education for students that want to come to our universities. And so, yes, affordability is a topic that we discuss all the time. But let's think about this. When people talk about tuition, they'll say, well, to attend the University of Missouri, all in, just for tuition, is about $15,000. Well, if a student can graduate in 3.5 years or 3 years, or graduate in 4 years instead of 5 or 6, then we've made the degree more affordable. That's why increasing the graduation rate for our students, and they've gone up at Mizzou by 10 points over the past 8 years, is a major, major improvement. And in the state of Missouri, Mizzou has the lowest loan default rate in the state at about 7%. But there are some universities that have loan default rates of 38%. And when you look at graduation rate and loan default rate, they are inversely correlated. And that's why when we talk about affordability, we talk about graduation rate and student success. And that's what we're focusing on.
How do you assure the devil's advocates out there or the devil's critics that say, well, yeah, you can increase the graduation rate, just lower the standards?
We will not lower the standards. And we've always had a commitment to achieving excellence. And we know that our graduates are in demand. We look at placement rate of students that get jobs or go to the military or graduate in professional school. We have about a 96% placement rate, which is one of the highest in the country. So our students are in demand because of the Mizzou method. And when we look at Missouri S&T, the salaries earned by their graduates after 6 months is in the top 5 in the country.
Wow.
And so those are the types of statistics that we share to demonstrate the value that we're providing to our students and Missourians.
That's President of the University of Missouri System, Moon Choi, talking about the value proposition at Mizzou and the data that supports it.
Yeah, speaking of statistics, another number people like to look at is enrollment numbers. As we approach a new school year, how is the system doing as far as enrollment?
We are doing well. I'll talk about Mizzou, and others are following in our footstep. And that is, at Mizzou, we are about 2% higher in freshman enrollment than we were last year. And last year, compared to 2017, our freshman enrollment increased by almost 48%.
Wow.
And, back in 2017, when I started, we had 4,000 students, freshman students. Last year, we had over 6,000 freshmen.
Great.
So Mizzou is back. It took some time, but Mizzou is back. And I am constantly reminded that we can go the other way very quickly. That's why I am very vigilant about our approach. And I've developed relationships with key leaders to demonstrate that we are aligned with the 3 key missions. And that's what universities should focus on: student success, research, and engagement with the citizens of Missouri.
Dr. Choi, as long as we've got you on with us this morning, give us your update on where you're at personally with Columbia's response to the shootings and the student who was hit by the stray bullet and just the overall violence and challenges for the MU students and faculty and everybody in downtown Columbia.
Well, thank you for asking that question. I believe we're making progress. And when I made my statement about what happened with the unfortunate killing of that student from Stevens, I also talked about the homeless issue, specifically the homeless crime issue. And I believe I can see some progress that's being made, including the median ordinance and also additional police presence during weekends and what we call the ambassadors for the district. And I'm seeing some progress, but we cannot pull back because the safety of our students and citizens of Columbia, that is the primary responsibility of leaders. And I will continue to press my case, but I am seeing progress.
Has the university or you personally come out with an endorsement or not of the public safety tax in Columbia?
You know, I have not, but here's the situation. You know, the university stays out of political endorsements of ballots and so forth. But personally, this is me, Moon Choi speaking personally, I support the police. I support fire, and there has to be additional funding for hiring more officers. And also, I care about the retirement plans for the police and fire. So I will personally be voting for this tax increase.
Dr. Choi, I have to commend you. It took a lot of courage to step out and do what you did in the wake of that shooting and ongoing. And I think a lot of people really do admire that. It takes a lot of courage for a public figure who caught a lot of fire in the wake of that, I know, from others who may disagree with you. So thank you personally from me, and I think I speak on the part of a lot of our listeners as well. Thanks very much for that and for joining us and for your leadership at the University of Missouri.
Well, thank you very much. I hope to see you again, perhaps at a football game or at an UMSO ice cream bar. How about that?
Yeah, or a field day. Maybe we'll see you at an agricultural field day, too, because there's a lot going on there. Yeah.
MIZ.
DOU.
All righty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Take care. John, what do you have coming up?
Turns out the Poles and the Japanese have rather unique ways of dealing with the heat.
Maybe they'll move to Minnesota.
Or maybe they can teach Europe a lesson.
Back in a minute.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
except for this.
Turns out a Polish endurance expert spent 2 hours, 12 minutes and 12 seconds completely buried in snow to break a Guinness World Record. Damian Kasparczyk earned the title for the longest time spent in full body contact with snow when he attempted the stunt. He previously broke the record for the longest duration full body contact with ice at 5 hours, 1 minute, 33 seconds.
Holy cow.
Across the globe, Japanese company responding to that country's increasingly hot summer by unveiling what they call the new human refrigerator, the Dohimon box, marketed as a human fridge, about the size of a standard Japanese vending machine. It can fit one person in at a time. Temperature inside the box kept at 59 degrees. Once you're inside, it blows cold air at your head, neck, shoulders, and back. The company said the boxes can relieve symptoms of heat exhaustion. In fact, one city hall in Gunma Prefecture got one of the first boxes and said they are now allowing the public to use it for free during opening hours. Temperatures in Japan have risen to 100 degrees in recent weeks. If you'd like one of these for your home or work, the Dohimon box currently retails for $9,300.
Wow. The Dohimon box.
Yeah. I don't know. Price to refrigerator lately? It's not far off.
No.
The price of them.
I still am going back to this contact with ice, like skin to ice for 5 hours.
That's it.
How do you not get...
How do you
longest duration full body contact with ice, 5 hours, 1 minute, 33 seconds.
Because cold plunging was a big thing. It kind of still is. And I think, didn't they say, it's hard to do it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think they say, like, don't do it for longer than 10 minutes, right? It can be unhealthy.
Well, Walt Disney's been doing it for like 60 years. So, anything's possible.
That's good.
I go back to
Austin Powers.
I remember I go back to like science class. I can't remember if it was like physics or what, but I remember we'd be in the lab and we'd be doing something and it involved ice.
Mm-hmm.
And when the teacher wasn't looking, all the boys would put their hand in the bucket of ice and the goal was to see who could keep their hand in long enough without like being in pain.
Okay.
I don't think any of them made it over 3 minutes.
Have you watched the Titanic movie? The reason those people die when they get hypothermia. I wonder if this ice, the whole body contact, I wonder what the ambient temperature was in the room.
And I don't like the idea of like the human refrigerator. Anyone who's ever worked in food service, I worked at a summer camp as like the lunch lady in high school, and they had a walk-in fridge, and I was terrified I was going to get locked in there. That was I was terrified.
Yeah, that's like a horror movie scene, right?
Now you got to worry about being left in there with bags of shredded lettuce.
There we go.
You talk about this whole thing and putting stuff on ice, how long has Ted Williams' head been on ice, 20 years or whatever?
I don't know. You can find data to support any one of these kind of fads, these health fads that come in and out. And I don't know. I think at some point, probably there is some benefit to that. But by the same token, like a double-edged sword, we talked about it before about the GLP-1s. While they're very helpful for a lot of people, metabolically, weight-wise, and body composition, if you work on it, they can be. There's a downside too. Too much of a good thing, not good. I don't know though. A nice dry sauna is really nice.
I know. See, there for a while, they were like, you got to cold plunge and get in the cold water and splash cold water in your face. But now all my Instagram and my Facebook is full of you need an at-home sauna. Do I need an at-home sauna?
Yes.
You're not invited to use my
I was going to say,
no, you don't.
I'm going to say we'll be right over. China, says one writer, has already conquered the USA. Maybe. They're manipulating us in ways that we don't even see the obvious signs. That coming up in a few minutes on Wake Up Missouri.
from the Zimmer Radio Network headquarters.
We've been taught to believe that this kind of political violence, it simply doesn't exist. And today we face a new wave of this old evil.
It's your morning addiction.
We will pursue maximum pressure on this.
Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell, the Zimmer News Team.
And engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening.
And now introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
China's agents. They get into these people's heads. They can get into our heads because now they have information about us and how to reach us. And if I can buy an ad, Stephanie, to, let's see, what could I do to target Stephanie with a micro-targeting campaign, geocaching. Okay, I know that Stephanie likes tech. I could, if I had a tech company, I can buy something to make sure that when you're watching TV or if you're watching a sporting event or you're looking at your phone, that the ads that pop up, because I know the kind of things you search. I know you're looking at tech. Well, why can't the Chinese do that? And why can't they do that to our leaders, to the people that influence our leaders, to our young people in college? And those are voters now. I think there's something.
Data is power.
Yes. And they say knowledge is power. Well, if the knowledge that you're getting is being manipulated by a hostile power, I mean, you don't have to connect too many dots to see how this affects a generation and the generations that can undo this country's basic underpinnings.
Yeah, the Chinese, weaponizing AI. The Chinese so-called scientists smuggling that wheat blight into the U.S.
Yes. Yeah, right. Okay, what about this? This writer says that when he made a comment, this is interesting, when Richard Gere supported Tibet, he angered China, and look what happened to his career. Took a major hit. When Stanford University parted company with him, when his comments on China's one-child policy angered Beijing, that it demanded that this writer be severely punished. So suddenly Stanford University said bye-bye to this writer. What about these, these think tanks or these these sympathetic, what are they called in the universities? Help me here. They're these little centers, and they have a Chinese name with them. They're setting up things that are
like storefront spy operations.
Yeah. During the Antifa riots in 2020, the Chinese consulate in Houston was shut down by a State Department after Chinese spies there were caught recruiting agitators. So we always talk about George Soros funding these things. I think, and what about the Chinese AI now?
What about the Chinese guy who was arrested, what was it, around Christmas of last year, spying and taking pictures of the B-2 bombers at Whiteman Air Force Base?
Yeah, there you go. The balloon?
Yeah, Jen's balloon.
Yeah, 93.9 the Eagles. Jennifer Bukowski was on Fox. It wasn't her picture on Fox News she took? So, we're worried about Big Brother in America and about, metadata, being collected and the Patriot Act. Really? I'm more worried about China. I certainly would trust. This is dangerous speak on this channel, I know, but I would trust the good people working for the FBI and the CIA. There's a lot of good people there. I'd like to think I could trust them more than I can trust the people in Beijing spying on me. What do you think of that? I mean, are we too complacent about China and about our ability for them to access us, learn about us, use AI to get into our heads in many different ways?
They're just sitting there rubbing their hands together as we launch more and more high-tech weaponry over against Iran, and then it takes a while to build the surplus back up again.
Yeah.
They love it.
I don't know, man. It's just, it's scary. And what are they doing while we're distracted with Ukraine and Middle East? What are they doing gearing up for some action against Taiwan? I don't know. Well, Stephanie, you found an interesting thing. Speaking of AI, you found an interesting clip of a college professor
who I'm going to nominate for winner of the week as we do that at 8:35.
This is really interesting. Listen to this. If you've got a student, a high school student graduate who now is going to college here in just a little less than a month, is going to be checking into the dorm, You may want to play this for them.
32 of my 35 students between two classes failed a portion of their midterm because they all used AI to generate their entire response. And apparently they didn't proofread it. Let me show y'all how I picked up on it. So this discussion post was a portion of my students' midterm, and if you look, it looks normal, right? But if you copy and paste this and look closely, in white ink I placed the word Madagascar somewhere in the response in a way that makes no sense. But if you uncopy and paste it, you can't see it. So if Madagascar was somewhere in my student's response in a way that did not make sense, I knew that they copied and pasted the entire thing and just threw it in AI. And oh my God.
Now, Drake has that sort of like, I chopped down the
Not
cherry
at
tree
all.
emoji. No, you don't. You don't.
No, that's stupid because it's very easy to pick up. That's been being done for years. And all you do is, hey, look for any keyword. And you just have to prompt it. You can't just put it in, write an essay, then copy and paste that over.
You said it's like really easy to pick up on. 32 out of 35 students failed the midterm, so apparently not. And I actually am not opposed to this. I think the professor did it in a smart way. And actually, he's not saying don't use AI. He's saying, at least if you're going to use AI, proofread read the response before you turn it in.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that this isn't a great strategy. It is. But, I mean, it just stops the people from being like, oh, I'm just going to copy and paste it into AI and then take whatever AI says and put it back in to the teacher. That's just, you're stupid if you do that.
Is there some like AI czar that we could ask Moon Choi to connect us with at the University of Missouri, or maybe at SEMO or at, Missouri State, to where we could get some kind of a reckoning of how are they educating their professors and trying to sort of manage this whole thing, because it's a reality. It'd be fun to talk with them sometime. But anyway, this guy was pretty smart. He put it in white font. Students didn't know it, and they didn't check it.
Until you have your website on the dark mode.
There you go. We come back with the Morning Bell after this.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
As the week winds down, time for the morning bell with Stephanie.
All right, we had the Nasdaq down big at 2.15%, the S&P down 1.21%, the Dow down 0.97%. Ooh, it was not a good day for communication services or consumer discretionary yesterday. Maybe a better day this week. I think it was Wednesday. Taco Bell, did you see this? They were offering a $1 lettuceless enchilada because, of course, we talked about how much business they've lost since the outbreak, but they're trying to take steps to get some of that business back. So maybe I'll have to go order an enchilada this weekend.
Enchiladas don't come with lettuce on them.
Well, yes, that's fair. But they were reminding people that they do have lettuceless products.
Gotcha.
Also, if the lettuce wasn't going to kill you, we're learning this morning, apparently more than 1.5 million dozen egg cartons are recalled over possible salmonella contamination. What happens when you get salmonella?
Bad. Fever, pretty, not explosive, but
it's not that bad.
Uncontrollable
Not
diarrhea and
explosive.
dehydration. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
That's what happens with diarrhea, Stephanie. You get dehydrated.
And electrolyte abnormalities. People can die from that.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Randy is hot on this. AI is taking your jobs, but we're learning a little bit more about maybe you are wrong. So
Some jobs.
Well, we hear it from everybody. Everyone tells us AI is coming for our jobs. It comes from Hollywood. Tech CEOs sometimes say it. Definitely your random cousin on Facebook is telling you that AI is going to take your job.
Yeah.
But Google just released one of the biggest real-world studies we've seen on how people are actually using AI, and the results are not dramatic. They are saying, the researchers are, that AI is mostly acting like a coworker, not a replacement. So less like a robot taking your cashier job and more like a really smart intern. And that's kind of how I look at AI. They said instead of, you're not prompting it and saying, do my job. You're saying, like, help me write this email, explain this spreadsheet, troubleshoot this, figure out why this isn't working, help me budget personally. And that's what they said. One big surprise was that, and Randy, you've talked about your own use of AI like this. They said they're finding that tradesmen like electricians, mechanics, and other skilled trades are uploading photos and videos to try to better diagnose problems, and they're getting answers faster. So again, you can't.
They're using AI and
your phone can't fix your
imaging.
car, but it might help your mechanic fix your car faster. And what that means too is if they're fixing it faster, they're also fixing it cheaper, probably, right? So
well, I don't know about that.
It's not gloom and doom with.
Oh, there's a lot of good help. A lot of good help there.
New Google product, but you said you use it around the farm. You can identify what plants. Why is my plant dying?
But you have
what do
to
I need to do to this?
But you have to maybe consult 2 or 3 of them if you're doing that, just like you would on YouTube. You don't go to the first YouTube how to do it yourself thing, and usually look at 2 or 3 of them. So you have to make sure they're honest.
But certainly they say as it boosts each individual's employee productivity, it's not like it's replacing people and we're just doing mass layoffs, but certainly it might reflect in how many people the company thinks it needs to add if every individual can be more efficient in their own job.
Or just grow more business and keep them all there being more productive and expand and make our GDP go like out of orbit. Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And again, you talked a lot in the last segment about China. Are we keeping pace with them and using AI in a way that makes us and keeps us competitive? I think that's a real question in my mind.
I am concerned about that story you talked about earlier, though, with OpenAI breaching another AI, hacking into another, they did a data breach, basically. And after it was instructed not to. Ouch. Autonomous AI, I think, is the big concern. Stephanie will have a solution to it, no problem. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. But don't forget about winners and losers coming up in just a few. Text us. The time of the week on the program where we ask you for your nominations for winners and losers of the week. The text line 573-874-9390. If you want to call us with a stupendous, the best, the GOAT nomination, it would be 800-529-5572. Stephanie, what do you have?
First winner of the week, we've talked about her a lot, Sophie Cunningham, making Missouri proud.
That story with ESPN, you talked about wanting to protect young girls who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Just can you expand your viewpoint on that?
I mean, I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children. And that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said, and I always believe that.
Yeah, do you see?
There you go. That's a winner.
Common sense Missourian right there for you. Of course, she played here at Mizzou and is now a celebrity in her own right. Also a celebrity. Well, we had two celebrities really joining us today. Governor Kehoe in his vision for the future of the state. I'd name him a winner, and also Moon Choi in his. Congratulations to him. We heard this morning that he fared very well on the faculty survey, which is no easy task. No. But in building those relationships, whether we're talking with faculty members, students, and certainly John asked him about, the funding in the legislature. It's that, it's his leadership and his ability to create, maintain, and build those relationships, I think, that has the university just doing so well right now.
And he was really put into a turnaround position, in 2017, right? So he's done a very good job.
No small task, certainly. For loser of the week, I might have to name these two individuals who we had this happen in Columbia not too long ago, but KRCG is reporting that there are two people charged with allegedly having inappropriate relations on a Columbia business's patio. Ooh. And apparently on the security cam, they were fully nude, engaged in some acts caught on the security footage, and now have been charged with whatever that charge.
You mean like sharing a shared plate, a small plate?
Oh no! No. So anyway,
wasn't wrought iron patio furniture sitting in the sun by any chance?
I was trying to figure out. It does name the two individuals. It does not say what business it was, but.
Would that be the
told the cops to go look for the pair with waffle iron burns on their butts? Maybe. Huh?
It's a new special on the menu.
That's terrible. Anyway, those are my losers of the week.
How is that a loser, by the way? I don't get that.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
You called
them to the races.
Well, yeah, it's not great for the public, and it's not great they got arrested, but, all they did was they got some play in, downtown. Who hasn't?
Where is the discretion?
I'm sorry. I thought we were always talking about how we need to increase the birth rates. We have to do this. America's struggling so much because our population isn't young enough. And then people go out and try and fix the solution, and you're like, no, they're losers.
The guardrails used to define that as you go out to the nice dinner, and then you go fix the birth rate.
There's not a lot of time.
After dinner, not during.
Well, maybe they were done eating.
Or on your business patio, in your car, at home, in a
Are you kidding me? There's those stupid flock cameras
everywhere.
Another
business's patio. Please,
you can't do it in your car anymore.
Keep that to yourself.
No, there's flock cameras watching. You don't get a ticket, and people will do whatever with these new flock cameras. You got to do it on the patio. I'm sure the flock cameras aren't looking there.
Well, someone's camera was.
Yeah, but not. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's hilarious.
Does that count for recording without the two's permission? I'm wondering.
No.
No?
I don't
okay.
think so.
They only archive those cameras for 30 days, right?
So you got 30 days?
Yeah, got 30 days. You can sign up and be recruited real quick if you'd like, Drake. All right, what do you have, Brian Hauswirth?
Well, I don't have any losers this week, no losers this week, but I do have a couple of winners. One, I am working on a story, folks, after the election. We have a lot of listeners, Randy, in southeast Missouri, and there is a missing girl who's been missing. It'll be 37 years. All of you that are hearing my voice in southeast Missouri know who Gina Dawn Brooks is in Fredericktown. And that investigation is active 37 years later. So one of my winners of the week is the Missouri State Highway Patrol Division of Drug and Crime Control in Jefferson City. They're actively working on the case. In fact, if you prisoners are listening and have some information, or anybody, you would want to call them. They're one of my winners of the week. Another winner of the week would be the Ozark Empire Fair in Springfield, Missouri. That is going to be coming up next week. One of the biggest fairs, one of the best, really, in the state. You could argue the best. It's an outstanding fair. And then a couple of, in the mid-Missouri area, a couple quick winners, one a Republican, one a Democrat. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, this prosecutor that she's working to remove in Ray County. It's an unbelievable case. It really is.
Unreal.
And Ms. Hanaway, a winner of the week. On the Democratic side,
that prosecutor, what was the allegations of?
Alleging that she was berating her staff, alleging that she was basically having sexual relationships with some defendants, had somebody allegedly that was undocumented maybe working. These are all allegations, but yeah, it's you've read that.
It's a minor conflict of interest.
The Attorney General was on the Jennifer Bukowski
Yes.
show, and I think she said she was using the docket sheet like a dating app.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and then berating the set, and that's the Reader's Digest version of that. But no, Stephanie's spot on. She was on with Jen Bukowski, and the other one would be David Tyson Smith on the Democratic side. He raised the question. I'm glad the governor brought it up today about the issue, and I actually raised it here on this very segment about a month ago about this speeding in work zones. So David Tyson Smith, winner of the week, because he's concerned about these workers that are working in the work zones with the speed. But Stephanie and Randy, those are my winners of the week. No losers.
Very, very good. Well, let's go to John. What do you have, John Marsh?
Let's see. I've got a whole pack of losers, a winner loser, and a Stephanie I beg to differ loser this morning.
Wow.
Not just unhappy kids at the Cooper County Fair. The company there that the Fair Board contracted with for the carnival told them they wouldn't be there because amusement associates could no longer afford their ride insurance.
Oh.
And the county lost its $5,000 deposit to the bunch as well.
Wow.
Here's our winner loser, far left streamer, Hassan Piker, told Mayor Zoran Mondani to shut the F up and urged progressives to present their policies more boldly during an interview this week. And our beg to differ, right to the president of the University of Missouri System, Moon Choi, from his very own page, says, we made history at Wrigley Field in Chicago as the park celebrated inaugural Mizzou night.
Yeah.
I had the incredible honor of throwing out the ceremonial first pitch.
Yeah.
Head basketball coach Dennis Gates, originally from Chicago, led the crowd in singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and Dr. Choi did it all in a Cubs jersey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big L for Dr. Choi.
And I saw that. I wasn't gonna hammer him on that, but he bounced it up to the plate. I mean, it was. He needs to talk to the baseball coach there and maybe take a few lessons. I don't know.
Carrick Jackson.
I bet Mike Keogh would have done it.
What do you have, Drake?
All right. Well, that's going to loop into my losers as well. But first, I have one winner, and the 3M Open is happening right now. It's a PGA Tour, and this loops into my long list of
3M?
losers. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Well, I can't watch it live. I'll have to watch the tape.
It's fun. I like watching
PBS,
golf.
I think.
I was a hater at the
Didn't
beginning
catch
of the
that,
season.
Did you, Hauswirth?
No, I didn't.
I said I'll have to watch the tape. Never mind. Go ahead.
So this leads me into one of my losers, Bryson DeChambeau. He tried to get out of a 2-stroke penalty last Friday by calling Donald Trump.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds like Tiger Woods telling the patrolman, I was just on the phone to the president.
Yeah, so
Whoa,
people
really?
are alleging that he brought up that he was going to call Trump and all this other stuff on the course. He ended up not getting it undone.
Oh, he should have paid an extra penalty for delay of game.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Oh, my Lord. He should have been given a couple strokes in that one. What the heck?
No, but I mean, we see the FIFA thing that happened where Trump kind of overturned that. I feel like you have to have a really corrupt sports organization to get away with that.
Wow.
Okay, but another loser. I'm going to consider myself a loser.
No.
Because, shut up, Randy.
Well, join the crowd.
Don't say shut up. That's rude.
Oh, well,
be respectful to your elders.
I'm not on camera. I can do this. Okay. But anyways, on Monday, we lost to the Cardinals, and I brought up that we lost to 2-3 to the
We
Los
lost
Angeles.
to the Cardinals?
Or the Cardinals lost to the Angels. It gets confusing. It was by a hit by pitch that walked a runner into home base, scored the final run of the game. How embarrassing.
Our pitcher
hit their hitter.
Oh.
Just a terrible way, and I don't know. I don't watch
Well, did
the
he
game.
take out a commission for the rest of the season? That'd be worth it.
Well, I'm wondering if it's the same guy who hit the guy in the All-Star game and almost broke his hand.
Really?
I brought that up last
It was the same pitcher,
It was?
Riley
That's
O'Brien.
Our guy?
That's funny.
The all-star pitcher hit the guy at bases loaded in either the ninth or 10th inning, and the guy it was a fastball.
Bad look for the Cardinals.
Yeah, the guy in the all-star game got drilled.
Yeah, he's still a stud though, and he will be in my heart for Hall of Fame of hit by pitches. Anyways, my other loser, ESPN, is laying off a lot of people, and one of those is Ryan Clark, who got fired in the middle of a commercial break. Isn't that just sad?
Wow. Yeah, they laid off a bunch of folks.
Carl Ravage.
Why would they lay him off in the middle of a commercial break? Get that notice. What? That's the kind of stuff that gives wind and fuel and fire to the DSA movement. That's the kind of stuff that does that. That's just discourteous, rude, boorish, uncivil, terrible, inexcusable behavior. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You see it in the TV biz where anchors who have outlasted their usefulness, they come back from the break and they're not there
anymore. I see HR and Peter at the door.
Yeah, they're waiting with your pink slip.
For sure.
They are. And one quick context on Drake's point about President Trump. There's no indication the president even knew that DeChambeau allegedly did threaten to call the president and did not, apparently. It was not a good look, but there's no indication. Maybe Trump knew, but there's no indication he did. And just a quick context, when George Brett had his pine tar incident back in 1983 at Yankee Stadium, huge controversy at the time, President Richard Nixon did write a letter. He was former president, but he wrote a letter. The letter's at Kauffman Stadium, can see it at the stadium, and urged the commissioner to give him the home run. So it's not totally uncommon for presidents or former presidents to do that, but that was Richard Nixon that said that.
In a defense of George Brett, he was suffering from terrible hemorrhoids that season.
Looked like he was going to really hit that umpire, too. But
well, hey, my winner was Sophie, you're right, but also the loser in that connection is a so-called reporter for the USA Today named Nancy Armour, who compared what's going on. She said this: it shouldn't need reminding, this country has an awful history of black people being harmed, even killed. The WNBA's All-Star Game this weekend, Emmett Till's hometown in Chicago, and a local art gallery is currently hosting an exhibit, Imaging His Life. She basically compared what's going on in the WNBA and Caitlin Clark to somehow Emmett Till's lynching. I mean, unbelievable. She is such a loser. Just unbelievable. And the troops serving abroad we need to remind ourselves that they are always winners. Several of them came home in a casket this week. And that Gold Star family, they're winners. They got a ride on Air Force One from Dover the other day. Amen. So those Gold Star families are always winners, and they remain in our hearts. Be back and close it up after this.
It's Wake Up
Us all week. We have a lot of stuff that we didn't get to. Let's get to at least a little nibble on that leftover plate. Stephanie, what do you have?
I wanted to highlight Patricia had a nomination for Winner of the Week on the text line. She wants to nominate the Attorney General.
Mhm.
And I think Patricia's the one who alerted us that the Boone Regional Library in Columbia is having the queer-led story time. And the Attorney General apparently sent a notice to the library after they learned that after story time, it was going to direct toddlers and preschoolers to have time to meet new friends afterwards. So the AG sent a notice and said they are reminding the library that providing pornography or sexual material to minors is against Missouri law. And so
Grooming at the library, is it?
So Patricia said, my winner of the week is the Attorney General for reminding people of their duties under Missouri law.
Meet new friends. Ooh, creepy sounding. I mean, if it was something of a heterosexual, hey, let's talk about mommy and daddies and, dating and how people become friends and they make babies and they make our planet a happy place. Would you like to meet some friends? You wouldn't
they
tolerate
couldn't hear
it.
your weird wink through the microphone.
You wouldn't tolerate it if a heterosexual was doing that, right? It's really not. It's less about LGBTQ than the meeting new friends thing, and just sexuality in general.
Yeah, I would say in general, I don't encourage my kids to make new friends with adults.
Yeah.
Maybe at church. They made some pretty cool friends at church, but
right.
I don't know.
Bingo.
So anyway.
Yeah, it was a creepy wink. Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's like, wow.
Randy looks like he could be standing outside of a van with a piece of candy with that
coat.
wink.
No, they don't get out anymore. They just stay in the van with the big sign that says free candy.
Thanks for chiming in, Patricia. We appreciate it.
Good one. Good one.
We're on the patio, right?
Man alive. John, you have something for us?
Yes, we do. In light of the explosive diarrhea epidemic,
yes,
we'll add this to our winners list, the Charmin Forever Roll.
What?
Charmin has introduced the Charmin Forever Roll 3-pack, complete with a giant stand because each roll is 18 inches in diameter.
That sounds like what they put in elementary school.
Yeah, exactly. And now $30 on sale at your Amazon near you.
Well, they got all you could eat at pasta. Well, Red Lobster, right? What is it? Yeah.
Honestly,
so you can get all you can wipe.
I wouldn't
Charmin.
mind that. I have 5 people in my house. I feel like I'm changing the toilet paper roll every day. Like, I'm like, how much toilet paper are we going through here?
Maybe you need to look into this.
I don't.
The industrial-sized rolls.
I just install one of those big gas station things on the wall.
Exactly.
I have a practical question. Can we talk about some toilet paper here? I have a question for you. Why in the world do they still make one-ply? My Sammy, daughter, made a benevolent gesture. She bought some toilet paper one time and didn't look at it. She was in a hurry. You know how it is if you got the kids. And it was either Sammy or she, I don't know. And they brought her one-ply. It's just, you got to use 2 or 3 times as much.
Well,
so what's the deal?
Upside is it's good if you don't have any sandpaper around the house.
Well, that's some highbrow radio for you, by golly. Wrap up the week with a TP discussion. That's Wake Up Missouri. Like a box of chocolates, you never, ever know what you're going to get. Thanks for being with us. See you Monday.
Bye.